it's elevated to the top of the ground, then you can make tayammum with it. Now, he says that from all parts of the earth. ويدل على أن التيمم على الوجه واليدين ينوب مناب طهارة الماء. So this proves and indicates that tayammum on the face and hands, it stands in the place of tahara with water. Meaning it's just like tahara with water. Holds the same ruling. ويفعل به من الصلاة والطواف ومس المصحف وغير ذلك ما يفعل بطهارة الماء. And you can do with it from prayer, tawaf, handling the mushaf, and other than that, similar to what you can do when you purify yourself with actual water. والشارع أناب التراب مناب الماء عند تعذر استعماله. And the legislator has made dirt to stand in the place of water when one cannot use the water that he has. فيدل ذلك على أنه إذا تطهر بالتراب ولم ينتقض وضوءه لم يبطل تيممه بخروج الوقت ولا بدخوله. He says that, and so this proves that if a person were to purify himself by way of tayammum, and he has not done anything that would nullify his purification, then his tayammum is not nullified by way of the exit of a particular time frame or the likes of that. As long as you don't do a nullifier, passing gas, using the bathroom, deep sleep, the likes of those things that we know nullifies purification, eating camel meat, and so on and so forth, then you can hold this tayammum for multiple prayers, just like you can your wudu. He says, وَأَنَّهُ إِذَا تَنَوَّأَ التَّيَمُّمْ لِلنَّقْلِ or لِلنَّفْلِ اسْتَبَاحَ الْفَرْض. And likewise, that if a person makes tayammum for an optional prayer, he makes tayammum so he can pray night prayer, for example, and Fajr comes in, which is an obligatory prayer, he can likewise make that obligatory prayer which he made with the tayammum that he made. Now, وَأَنْ حُكْمُهُ حُكْمُ الْمَاءِ, and that its ruling is the ruling of water in all of the legislative rulings in a case where one has the excuse of using tayammum. Shaykh Ubaydi says that his statement that its ruling is the ruling of water in all of the ahkam when one has an excuse in order to do it. لأن النائب يقوم مقام الأصل. This is because the naib, meaning that which we are doing in place of something else, then it takes the same ruling as the thing that it's taking the place of. Right? So it's taking the place of, well, the asl of it is tahara with water. So therefore the naib, which is tayammum, the deputy, if you will, is tayammum here, then it takes the same place as the asl. For tarab badil min al-ma' fi halayn. So therefore a tarab, yani making tayammum with soil or earth or dirt, it stands in the place of water in two cases. The first case, adam wujuduhu. If there's no water at all. The second, if harm will occur if one were to use the water. Therefore, it takes all of the rulings of water from them, salah, iddatu salawat, from them a person can pray a number of salawat with one tayammum, as long as he has not done hadith, meaning he has not broken his purification. أو يأتي منه ما هو مظنة الحدث كالنوم, or one has not done something in which it is perceived that he could possibly have done a hadith, like for example deep sleep. Now, the third, his statement in which he said, أُحِلَّتْ لِي الْغَنَائِمُ وَلَمْ تَحِلَّ لِأَحَدٍ قَبْلِي, that the ghanaim, the spoils of war, the war booty has been made permissible for me, whereas it was not permissible for those prophets that came before me. وَذَلِكَ لِكَرَامَتِهِ عَلَى رَبِّي. And this is due to the fact that the Prophet ﷺ, he has nobility with Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala. He has honor. He's honored with Allah Azza wa Jal. And his ummah as well is honored, is an honored ummah. And they're, due to the completion of their sincerity, فَأَحَلَّ لَهُمْ, so he made this permissible for them. نعم وَيَنْقُصْ مِنْ أَجْرِ جِهَادَهُمْ شَيْئًا, and it will not decrease from the reward of their jihad at all. The fact that Allah Ta'ala allowed them to take from the spoils of war, it does not decrease the reward of their jihad at all. Now, and by way of this, there occurred for this ummah the expansion of their provisions and the abundance of their good, which they would do on the account or by way of that wealth which they would acquire after fighting in jihad. They would acquire wealth and they would do good with that money. They would utilize that money to expand the ummah even further. وَالْإِسْتِعَانَ عَلَىٰ أُمُورِ الدِّينِ وَالدُّنْيَا, and they would utilize the spoils of war to benefit the affairs of their deen and the affairs of their dunya. شَيْءٍ لَا يُمْكِنْ عَدَّهُ, in a way that cannot be counted. وَلِهَذَا قَالَ, and due to this he said عليه السلام وَجُعِلَ رِزْقِي تَحْتَ ذِلَّ رَمْحِ, he said that my provision, the Prophet said عليه السلام, that my provision, it has been placed under the shade of my spear. It's under the shade of my spear, meaning by way of this, I'm able to get my provision. By way of this jihad in the path of Allah Azza wa Jal. Now, وَأَمَّا مَنْ قَبْلُنَا, as for those who came before us from nations, فَإِنَّ جِهَادَهُمْ قَلِيلٌ بِالنِّسْبَةِ لِهَذَا الْأُمَّةِ, then their jihad, which they would do, it was small in relation to the jihad of this ummah. This is what we mentioned previously, that our ummah, they do all of these things more. Not just jihad, but likewise all affairs of goodness, whether it's salawat, we pray more, whether it is hajj and umrah, we do that more, whether it is fasting, we do that more, we give more sadaqah, we do all of these affairs more than the previous nations. Now, وَهُمْ دُونَ هَذِهِ الْأُمَّةِ بِقُوَّةِ الْإِيمَانِ وَالْإِخْلَاصِ, and those previous nations, they are less than our nation in terms of iman and sincerity. فَمِنْ رَحْمَتِهِ بِهِمْ أَنَّهُ مَنَعَهُمْ مِنْ الْغَنَائِمِ, and so for the mercy of Allah, Azza wa Jalla upon the previous nations, he did not allow them to take from the spoils of war, لِأَلَّا يُخِلْ بِإِخْلَاصِهِمْ وَاللَّهُ أَعْلَمُ, in order that this would not hinder and harm their sincerity, and Allah knows best. Some of the people are tested by money. Some of the people, money is their fitna. So when they have it in their pockets, it causes more harm to them. So Allah Ta'ala protected them. Now, it's not to say that they're not individuals amongst our ummah that are the same. But again, our ummah is not like those previous nations. Now, we are different from them in many regards. The fourth affair, وَأُعْتِيتُ الشَّفَاعَةَ, I have been given intercession. And this is a shafa'atul udhma, what's called the greater intercession, because other individuals in this ummah have been given intercession as well. Now, we know that there are other affairs of intercession that when we look at the authentic narrations, that Allah Ta'ala, he mentions certain affairs of intercession that some of this ummah is going to receive. Likewise, what has come in the sunnah, there's mention of intercession that some of this ummah will be able to do for their family members, for the believers, and so on and so forth, so that they allow them to enter into the Jannah or come out of the hellfire, and so on and so forth. Now, and likewise the previous prophets. But when it comes down to a shafa'atul udhma, the greater intercession, that is specific to the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, no one, neither prophet nor other than them, has a shafa'atul udhma, and that is that shafa'a which all of the other prophets will excuse themselves from on the day of judgment, when the people will go to Adam alayhi salam and ask him to intercede with Allah Azza wa Jal to commence the judgment for it to start and to take place, and Adam will remember that affair which he had fallen into, and he will excuse himself for it or from it, and he will say, go to Nuh, or go to Nuh. There people go to Nuh and say the same thing until they go to Isa. They go to all other various prophets until they finally they will be directed to Muhammad alayhi salam, and he will say, "Ana laha," that I'm for it. I am for it. And so, now he will go and he will prostrate before the throne of Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala, and Allah Ta'ala will inspire him, make ilham. He will inspire him with certain words of praise and laudation of Allah Azza wa Jal, and certain words of seeking forgiveness and so on and so forth. And Allah Ta'ala, he will say thereafter, "O Muhammad, raise your head, ask, and you will be granted your request. Intercede, and your intercession shall be accepted." Now, and that is that Maqam al-Mahmud, the praiseworthy station that we supplicate to Allah Ta'ala to give him when after the Muadhin calls the Adhan. The dua that we say after the Adhan, we're supplicating to Allah Azza wa Jal for Allah Ta'ala to grant him this Maqam al-Mahmud. Now, and the Prophet said in this regard, alayhi salam, لِكُلِّ نَبِيٍّ دَعْوَةٌ قَدْ تَعَجَّلَهَا, that every prophet has a dua, and in most cases they hasten their dua. All other prophets have a dua that is guaranteed to be responded to, he means. And most of them hastened their dua while they were in the dunya. وَقَدْ خَبَأْتُ دَعْوَتِي شَفَاعَةً لِأُمَّتِي, and so I have held my dua for to be intercession for my ummah, for here na'ilatun, and it is something which will occur, inshallah, man mata la yushrik billahi shay'a, for those who die without associating anything as a partner with Allah tabarak wa ta'ala. And he said, as'adu nas bi shafa'ati man qala la ilaha illallah khalisan min qalbi, that the most fortunate of the people in relation to my intercession are those who say la ilaha illallah khalisan min qalbihi, out of sincerity from his heart. And the fifth of these affairs that I mentioned in the hadith is his statement, وَكَانَ النَّبِيُّ I جنس الأنبياء. He said that the prophet, meaning prophets in general, this genus or class of people, the prophets, they used to be sent to his nation specifically. وَبُعِثْتُ إِلَى النَّاسِ عَامَةً, whereas I have been sent to the people in totality. وَذَلِكَ لِكَمَالِ شَرِيعَتِهِ, that is due to the perfection of his legislation and its all-inclusive, encompassing nature and its vastness. وَاشْتِمَالِهَا عَلَى الصَّلَاحِ الْمُطْلَقِ, and due to the fact that it contains absolute uprightness. وَأَنَّهَا صَالِحَةٌ لِكُلِّ زَمَانٍ وَمَكَانٍ, and that it is suitable for every time and every place. لَا يَتِمْ الصَّلَاحِ إِلَّا بِهَا, and righteousness cannot be attained except by way of it. وَقَدْ أَسَّسَتْ لِلْبَشَرِ أُصُولًا عَظِيمًا, and this legislation, it is laid down for humanity on tremendous principles. متى يعتبروها صلح لهم دنياهم كما صلح لهم دينهم, and once they implement it, then it will rectify for them the dunya just as it rectified for them their religion. Shu'aybah, he says, I say that every prophet has khasa'is. Every prophet has khasa'is, has things that are specific to them, which no other prophets share. Min dhalika ayat Musa, and from that, for example, is the ayat of Musa, those things that Musa was given, the signs that Musa was given. The locusts and the frogs and all these things that Musa was given, his staff and so on and so forth. From that is Musa's transformation of his stick into a snake, when his stick transformed into a snake. هذا فيما نعلم لم ينلها أحد غيره, and as far as we know, no other prophet attained that. No other prophet had a stick that can transform into a snake, and the likes of this. He says, كذلك عيسى برع قومه في الطب. Likewise, Isa, he would treat people by way of, with certain medical conditions, that Allah Ta'ala had given him the ability to do. by way of which he transcended the medicine of their time, to the point that he would heal the akmah. And akmah, barakallahu fikum, is a person who's born with no eyes in their head. Not just a blind person. A person who's born with no eyes in their head at all. Isa would heal this person, and he would be able to see by Allah's permission. Now, he would heal the leper. He would heal the leper and other than them. وَكَانَهُ يَصْنَعْ مِنَ الطِّينِ, and likewise that he would fashion from clay the likeness of a bird, and he would breathe into it, and it would become a bird by Allah's permission. He would imagine he takes some clay and fashion like a bird and breathe into it, and then it becomes the bird. It becomes an actual bird. And the bird that it would become, that it became, as Al-Baghawi mentioned, we posted about this some time ago from the tafsir of Al-Baghawi. The scholars, they say that the bird that it became was a bat. A bat, right? The kuffar don't consider a bat to be an actual bird. They consider it to be like a rat or something like this. What's the rat called? What's the word? Huh? Marsupi, okay. But the bat is a bird, and it's a miraculous kind of bird. It's a different kind of bird. It's not like other birds, right? Because the bat lactates, right? It lactates, and it likewise has a menstrual cycle. It has a period, so it's not like other birds. And this particular bat, when the people looked at it, right, it would fly. When they turned away, it would land down and it couldn't fly, right? And like this. And so this is in order that it will be unlike any other thing they ever seen before. It's unlike any other thing that the people ever seen before that. Now, and so he says that وَفَضَائِلْ نَبِيِّنَا, and the virtues of our Prophet Muhammad alayhi wasallam are very many. وقد أوصلها الحافظ في شرحه لهذا الحديث إلى 17 خصلة. Al-Hafiz Ibn Hajar in Fath al-Bari, he counts them to be approximately 17 in number, as we mentioned previously at the beginning of the class. Others have counted them to be 60. And again, this position of it being 17, Sheikh Ahmed al-Najmi, he poeticized them in 11 lines of poetry, which a few of the kids from the masjid actually memorized those 11 lines of poetry. Naam. And so he said, يمكن أن يوجد أكثر من ذلك لمن أمعنا التتبع. And perhaps it's even more than that, Ibn Hajar says, perhaps it's even more than that for the one who actually does the research and studies. وقد ذكر أبو سعيد النيسابوري في كتاب شرف المصطفى أن عدد ذلك اختص به نبينا الأنبياء 60 خصلة. نعم. And he says that Abu Sa'id al-Naysaburi, he mentions in his book Sharaf al-Mustafa, the nobility of al-Mustafa, that the number of those things which our Prophet has been specified with are 60 characteristics, and Allah Azza wa Jal knows best. We stop here inshallah ta'ala and pick up next week from the next Wednesday from the 27th narration. هذا وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على نبينا محمد.